Clefable absorbs the Sludge Bomb. We see the pivot into Zapdos. The opponent tries their luck making the Drill Peck catch onto Tentacruel unsuccessfully, and we are full sending. Does the opponent respect the damage? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have got a throwback team from one of my good friends in the community, NoobGiratina. This highly talented battler was able to pilot this team very high up in the leaderboards way back in Season 14. Since then, Incinerate has got a huge buff, making one like Talonflame, Typhlosion and even Skeledirge a lot more viable, and this team is ABA weak to fire, essentially making it redundant. To make matters worse, this team is also very soft to former meta kingpin Registeel and PvPoke's current #1 ranked pick Feraligatr. Since gaining access to Shadow Claw, Feraligatr can be a nightmare for this team. Even Zapdos, with his typing advantage, can get taken out very easily by a Hydro Cannon, especially from the Shadow variant. However, let me tell you, this team has rose from the ashes once again, and it is back better than ever. Since NoobGiratina originally ran this team, it has received 4 buffs. Clefable double buff with Fairy Wind and Swift, a move it recently got access to, and this season saw Thundershot get buffed and Ice Punch now do more damage. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, we are off to a good start. The opponent save switches into Gliscopod, and here comes Zapdos. Already you can see the buff Thundershock are really starting to chunk. We go straight for the Drill Peck. Drill Peck picks up that one-hit KO. Gliscopod straight in and straight out, back out. Comes Guzzlord, but Zapdos is not done. The second Drill Peck lands, getting Guzzlord near the half health range. The opponent continuing to farm up, allowing Zapdos to reach the second Drill Peck. Drill Peck goes unshielded, and Zapdos has almost deleted 2 Pokemon. Guzzlord does have access to Sludge Bomb. However, who's going to Sludge Bomb a Steel type? So I anticipate the opponent instant throwing a move, which they do. We tank it on Clefable. The opponent pivots out into Tentacruel, and I'm now going to send back out Sandslash. Sandslash fires off the Drill Run. The opponent looks to call the bait, and just like that, we're off to a 1-0 start. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see Chestnut in the lead. Of course, Superpower, double super effective, and we've got 2 better response in the back, so I say switch into Zapdos. Is this a Thunder Punch? I thought I was about to get Thunder Punch. The opponent actually fire off the Superpower, which is single resisted, but still rocks us below half health. The opponent then sends out Tentacruel. We full send the Thunderbolt, forcing a protection. I look to commit to the next Thunderbolt, but unfortunately that Poison Jab will be removing me from the field of play, so I'm going to settle for the Drill Peck, getting them below half health. Zapdos has not only managed to obtain us a shield advantage here in the mid game, it's also managed to bait out Tentacruel, something Clefable doesn't want to see. I'm going to farm up, throw the Drill Run on the charge attack priority, and look to pick up the knockout. Drill Run lands, down goes Tentacruel, out comes Typhlosion. We pivot into Clefable. Of course, this isn't a great matchup, but at least we've got Swift that will hit for neutral. The opponent goes straight for a Thunder Punch. I invest the first Protect Shield, and back out comes Chestnut. I'm going to full send the Moonblast, punish a no shield, or force the opponent all shields down. Now the opponent's shieldless. This does open up the door for Sandslash to land a Drill Run. No one move will be removing Clefable from the field of play. The opponent fires off the Frenzy Plant. I return fire with the Moonblast, and you're going to see I go for an undercharge. Switch timer pops up. I pivot out into Sandslash and look to get that energy required to reach the Drill Run. The opponent fire off the Superpower, send out Typhlosion. We've got the energy lead. Typhlosion going to be straight in and straight out. Who's worried about any fire types? Not Sandslash. We Shadow Claw farm down Chestnut and take that game. In the next battle, we see Malamar in the lead. I'm going to say switch into Zapdos and see what the opponent wants to do. The opponent stays in, looking to fire off a foul play, and I'm going to invest a Protect Shield as Zapdos cannot tank a hit for shit, even in the Ultra League. Out comes Drapion, and with this huge energy lead, I am going to be forcing a Protect Shield back. The opponent tanks the first Drill Peck. Zapdos going to farm up, attempt to throw on the CMP tie to the Aqua Tail, but the opponent actually doesn't opt to throw. They invest the Protect Shield, then go straight for the Crunch, meaning they are now energy dry. Crunch picks up the knockout. And this is a nice opportunity for Sandslash to come in and look to load up on energy. The opponent goes straight for another Crunch. Hopefully they don't get the debuff. The opponent actually does get the debuff, so I'm then only going to throw 3 Shadow Claws, a fire off the Ice Punch, one quick move before the opponent potentially reach an Aqua Tail. Ice Punch goes unshielded. We spam the switch into Clefable. They've got Tentacruel in the back. I'm not going to waste anyone's time. You've got me, Mr. Opponent, and I'll gracefully concede the match. In the next battle, we see Golurk in the lead. Sandslash is not going to appreciate that Mud Slap damage. I pivot into Zapdos, go straight for the Drill Peck, which is good timing. That'll be 11 turns into 12 turns with the 1 turn switch accounted for. The opponent fires off the Shadow Punch, a move we can actually survive. They actually then send out Muck, Switch locking himself, which is perfect for me. They have saved Golurk, but it's very nice to bait this thing out so Clefable doesn't have to see it. The opponent fire off the Thunder Punch, which has been buffed. To be honest, Shadow Mock's something I might take a look at myself. If you want to see me run it, post it down below. Mock's always been a sleeper pick in my humble opinion. I think the combination of Poison Jab, Thunder Punch and Dark Pulse gives you very nice coverage in the Ultra League. Although you can see the regular variant just doesn't hit hard enough. I think Shadow is the way to go. I fire off the Drill Run, we're able to Shadow Claw farm down afterwards, and I am spamming the switch, anticipating Golurk re-entering the arena. The opponent blind switches out into their third, which is Mandibars, and this time it's the opponent that's going to concede the match. GG's. In the next battle, we see Dragonite in the lead. When you use Sandslash, you'll often find a lot of people will stay in this lead, and that is because Dragonite is often paired with poison types. Of course, Dragon is going to be petrified of a fairy, so poison is a very nice complement. This is where Sandslash is like a Swiss Army knife, as it's got that drill run coverage. The opponent making the best of a bad situation, able to force a Protect Shield with a Dragon Claw bait, and then make the Ice Punch catch onto Licky far too thicky. I rebank the Ice Punch before sending out Clefable. Of course, Clefable would also be very good into Dragonite, but Zapdos not too good into Licky far too thicky, hence I've come here. The opponent fire off the Shadow Ball, I return fire with the Moonblast. Moonblast rocks the opponent deep into the red, but then able to reach the Swift on the charge attack priority, keeping Clefable as healthy as we physically can. Swift picks up the knockout. Out comes Tentacle. You can see I'm trying to pivot back out into Sandslash, but switch timer isn't up. But Swift, a very spammy move. We land the Swift, pivot into Sandslash. I pause a turn, ensuring the Drill Run lands on its intended target. Drill Run forces the opponent's final Protect Shield, and we're going to put it all on Zapdos, knowing Zapdos will have enough in the tank to clean up. Scald isn't lethal, giving the opponent some free farm, which isn't fantastic. I fully wait out my clock, knowing I will be switch locked. We send out Zapdos, the opponent pivots back out into Dragonite. Dragonite does have a charge move bank. I'm going to burn the final Protect Shield here, blocking up the Dragon Claw, and then going to bank a Thunderbolt, pivot into Clefable, knowing the opponent has re-switch locked themselves. The opponent can look to pick up the knockout with the Superpower. Superpower does debuff their defense. One Thunder Shock knocks him out. We leave with the Thunderbolt. The opponent recognises the game's over and concedes the match. In the next battle, we see Cobalion, an absolute nightmare lead. We save switch into Zapdos. The opponent's only thrown 3 double kicks. This can only be a Sacred Sword. Sacred Sword, a fairly easy tank for Zapdos, something you won't hear me say all that often. Out comes Shadow Dust Noir, a very cool pick. We land the first Drill Peck. Zapdos already the second one, which likely goes shielded, as the opponent is going to want to keep that super positive alignment. Zapdos again obtains me a shield advantage in the mid game. We can now send out Sandslash. This Shadow Ball is absolutely going to clap us. However, it is survivable, so I'm not going to shield. Shadow Ball rocks me down to around a third health. We get that full Shadow Claw farm down, back out. Comes Cobalion. I'm not in one double kick range. I'm going to throw the Drill Run before sending out Clefable. The opponent's continuing to stay in, which has me a bit puzzled, to be honest. Swift is a very underwhelming move in the Ultra League. So although they're in the red health range, I don't want to throw a Swift, potentially not picking up the knockout. So I'm going to full send the Moonblast, guaranteeing the knockout. Moonblast does pick up the knockout, and out comes Gator. We've got a huge energy lead, so I think there's no reason to bait. I full send the Moonblast. Moonblast goes unshielded. The opponent farming up a boatload of energy, and they're actually going to throw on 9. We are just about outside of Hydro Cannon range, but I am going to shield this. I want to anticipate the opponent throwing the next one as soon as they get it. Gator straight 5 pace into the Hydro Cannon to make the catch. Back onto low health Sandslash. We've now got the double Swift bank. You know the drill. The first one will force the shield and the second will knock them out. The opponent recognises we've got a boatload of energy and concede the match. In the next battle, we see Electivire in the lead. What spice from the opponent. I don't often bait, but just by looking at how much these Shadow Claws have done, I feel the opponent's kind of obliged to shield. So we are going to fire off the Ice Punch. The opponent then farms up. I'm thinking, as they're not a Shadow, enjoy yourself. Thankfully for me, it's just the Ice Punch bait. I can then throw the Ice Punch. This should be the Wild Charge, and if the opponent wants to keep Electivire around, it's going to be forced to double shield. If I'm honest, I just want to remove this terrifying Pokemon from the field of play, which we do. Out comes Annihilate. We've got 2 very good Annihilate answers in the form of Zapdos and Clefable. Rage Fist from a non-Shadow won't do too much. We can always tank the first. The opponent then makes a very nice catch, catching the Drill Peck onto Gator. However, the second Drill Peck will either force the shield or pretty much knock out. Maybe one further Thunder Shock. Let's see what the opponent has in mind. The next Drill Peck goes unshielded. Zapdos able to Thunder Shock farm down. The opponent not able to counter farm Zapdos down before the Drill Pecks reach. Drill Peck will be forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. And Clefable, upper Protect Shield, is unbeatable for the opponent, and they are going to concede the match. GG's. In the next battle, we see a dreadful lead. Sandslash is always a Pokemon I say high risk, high reward. The risk factor is that Sandslash, being an Ice and Steel type, has 2 double weaknesses to fire and fighting. It's highly rewarding because it's able to core break a lot of teams. Of course, when you see the fighter in the lead, we need to get out immediately. We pivot into Zapdos, baiting out Dragalge. We're able to land 1 Drill Peck, force a Protect Shield with the second Drill Peck, and we then send back out Sandslash. Dragalge now has access to Focus Blast. Thankfully, the opponent doesn't farm up to it. Sandslash can tank 2 Aqua Tails. When the opponent's throwing the next one, I'm going to bank all this energy and look to load up with Clefable, knowing the opponent's going to send out their third as Annihilate will not be returning. We pivot into Clefable, the opponent saves Dragalge as a potential sack swap and send out Gliscopod. We full send the Moonblast, the opponent with only 1 Protect Shield, unwilling to shield, and Clefable now sitting in a prime position to sweep. Despite having 2 shields here, I'm not really threatened or forced to shield as the opponent's going to be offering very little fast move pressure when Gliscopod's out the way. The opponent actually go for the X as a bait and it has all gone wrong for this opponent. We're able to swift into a Fairy Wind farm down, back out comes Annihilate. Of course, we are going to start using our shields here. Then we're just going to pause, wait for the counter to start, ensuring the Moonblast lands on its intended target. No catch attempts made. The opponent looks to call the bait, they get nuked through the Protect Shield and we're able to take that game. In the next battle, we see Guzzlord in the lead. The opponent opts to stay and they do resist our quick move of Shadow Claw. However, Ice is going to hit him for super effective. The opponent opts to stay and so throws 7 Shadow Claws and the Ice Punch for optimal fast move timing. So using a 2-turn move like Shadow Claw into a 3-turn move like Dragon Tail, you want to throw 1 quick move at 4 or 7. The opponent also throws at Discipline timing. It's using Dragon Tail into a 2-turn move. You just want to throw an odd number, so 1, 3, 5, 7, etc. The opponent's already shown Crunch, so unless this is a brutal swing, it can only be a Dragon Claw, as they haven't got the energy required for another Crunch. So I know I survived that move, reaching 1 further Ice Punch to win the 0-1 shield scenario. Out comes Drapion. You might be asking yourself, why didn't I instantly pivot? Well, I'm actually going to use Clefable to absorb this energy, as I didn't spam the switch. And Drapion, with an energy lead, is very scary. We tank the Sludge Bomb, then pivot into Zapdos. The opponent tries to make the Drill Peck catch onto Tentacruel, giving me the opportunity to nuke them through the protection. We full send the Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt nearly picks up that 1 shot. We're able to Thundershock farm down afterwards. Back out comes Drapion. Zapdos with 2 shields to hide behind. Going to start investing them here. The opponent clearly don't have Aqua Tail. They would have thrown it. Again, we're going to full send the nuke ball in the opponent's court. The opponent unwilling to shield, and we take that game. In the next battle, we see the Nightmare lead. We're going to say switch into Clefable that also has a losing matchup. I think if you're going to run this team, you should definitely get off the Swift here to get off some chip damage. And then look to call the bait, get nuked through the Protect Shield, and everything is going wrong. Although in fairness, it's a good job I didn't shield, as Steelix is such a hard Clefable answer. When they used to run Dragon Tail, Clefable could actually win that matchup, and now using neutral Thunderfang, you're in shambles. The opponent's not even looking to bait anything other than a Psychic Fangs. I don't know if that's intentional. I guess the opponent was just looking to debuff me and eventually look to snipe with Typhlosion. I throw the Drill Run on the CMP type to the next Psychic Fangs, but unfortunately it isn't quite enough to knock out. Switch Timer pops up, there's the attempted snipe. We save Sandslash and pivot out into Zapdos, but things are still looking shambolic. I'm now forced to start shielding up Thunder Punches. These Incinerates are melting through my non-existent HP stat. As I've got energy on Sandslash, I can potentially see a way of getting rid of this Typhlosion. We're going to shield this move up, throw 2 further Thunder Shocks, and then the Drill Peck. If the opponent shields this, we're going to be able to snipe for Drill Run. Ball in the opponent's court. We force the final Protect Shield. We then go for the sniping. With this Drill Run that's banked, we actually throw 1 further Thunder Shock as well, getting as much energy as we physically can, but it's all in vain. It's Gator in the back. Drill Run, even if we won CMP, wouldn't be lethal. The opponent fires off the Hydro Cannon, remove me from the field of play, and let's be real, that was an absolute assassination. GG's to that opponent. In the next battle, we see another trainer of culture running Zapdos in the lead. The opponent farms to a Thunderbolt. As they're not the Shadow, 1 move is survivable. The opponent falls in the Thunderbolt. I pause a turn. I'm just going straight for the Ice Punch. Just looking to remove him from the field of play, which we do. The opponent then sends out Gliscor. We're going to bank the Ice Punch and send out Zapdos. In this battle of flyers, Zapdos is the superior as we've got the ability to hit for big neutral damage with a Drill Peck as opposed to the opponent going for resisted sand attacks and aerial aces. Even Earthquake would also be single resisted. The opponent sends out Gengar. They look to fire off on the charge attack program. More than happy to invest a protection here, looking to get the opponent all shields down. Or just cleanly remove Gengar from the field of play. The opponent saving their final Protect Shield for Gliscor. We pivot into Clefable and this game is essentially over. We've got the Ice Punch banked, so again there's no reason to bait. We full send the Moonblast. Moonblast just does too much damage. Even if the opponent full sends an Earthquake from the non-shadow, after the nerf Earthquake received a few seasons ago, you can see it just doesn't do enough damage. We're going to reach the Swift. Swift will be forced in the final protection, then combo into the Ice Punch. The opponent recognises the game's over and concede the match. In the next battle, we see Heliolisk in the lead. As Yasa would say, a pretty scuffed matchup as they do double resist our quick move and one drill run isn't actually lethal. The opponent save switches into Glisserpod, I send out Zapdos. I can tank the liquidation and then we can farm up to the double drill peck. The opponent can realign, but that will cost them both protect shields. The opponent unwilling to shield, drill peck removes them from the field of play. I was worried that one Volt Switch will take me out, so I don't go for the Thunderbolt. You can see I actually do survive that, so one Thunderbolt would have been the better play there as it does do more raw damage even when both moves have resisted. Heliolisk are very glassy Pokemons. With the Drill Peck, I just go straight for the Ice Punch as it is good timing, looking to make the opponent make the first shielding decision of the battle. The opponent invest the Protect Shield, then send the Parabolic Charge, then try their luck, making the Ice Punch catch onto Tapu Fini. I'm actually going to fire off the Drill Run and then send out Clefable. After landing the Drill Run, they're in a range with just a singular Moonblast with the Fairy Winds will remove them from the field of play. I've still got 2 shields to hide behind, so I'm going to invest one here, shield up the Nature's Madness, and then overfarm before firing off the Moonblast. I could have overfarmed a bit more, but one turn Water Gun with a low defense is going to start chunking. I'm not even baiting a Moonblast, we just go straight for the Swift. The opponent looked to call the bait, but even that won't save them. We've still got a shield, we're just going to shield this move up. The opponent running out of HP, so they're obliged to throw the move as soon as they get it, so we catch back onto Sandslash. The opponent can undercharge, but even then, I think one Fairy Wind is going to be all she wrote, and we take that game. In the next battle, we see the battle of the Ice type. Sandslash is favoured, but isn't actually the worst matchup from him. Meteor Beam does a lot of damage. The opponent actually tried to catch the Drill Run onto Glisserpod. We bank our energy and send out Zapdos. We're going to play this matchup out exactly as we have done all throughout the video. We're going to tank the liquidation, farm up to the double drill peck. Drill peck will be lethal, but if the opponent shields, we're just going to fire off back to back and force the opponent all shields down. This opponent desperately wants to realign, but that's fine for me as we set up a 2-0 shield advantage. Clefable is the team's bulkiest member, so we're going to send it out and use it as the damage sponge. The opponent fired off the liquidation. The opponent then attempt to make a Moonblast catch onto Galarian Weezing. I hold my energy, send out Sandslash instantly, fire off the Drill Run lands. We're going to be able to outpace to the Ice Punch before the opponent potentially reach an OV, and things are looking fantastic. Ice Punch removes Weezing from the field of play. Glisserpod re-enters the arena. We're not going to shield the first move in case the opponent does get that defense drop. Liquidation doesn't get the defense drop. I'm just going to go for the one shield now. Full Shadow Claw farm down, and this game should be signed, sealed and delivered. The opponent is switch locked, unable to switch out, unable to reach another move. We leave with the double Drill Run. This is only a weather ball, potentially survivable, although I think that is reaching. So the safest play is just the shield, fire off the 2 Drill Runs. The first one rocks the opponent down below half health, and the second one will be vanquishing them back to their Pokeball. GG's and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see Tentacle in the lead. A very nice lead for us. The opponent stays in, fire off a few poison jabs before sending out Greedent. I am going to chip and dip this thing as Greedent, a very bulky Pokemon. Ice Punch is actually now the more energy efficient move on Sandslash, but Drill Run does do slightly more. We fire off the Drill Run, then send out Clefable. The opponent fire off the Trailblaze. The first one won't do too much, but subsequent ones after that will do more as it comes with a 100% chance to vamp up your attack. We fire off the Moonblast. Moonblast rocks this Squirrel into the red health range. So for those of you that have played this game a while, around the same time NoobGiratina was running this team, Henry was running a team of Tentacle, Greedent and Guzzlord. That's the team I'm anticipating. So you can see my switch timer is up and I am spamming the switch, knowing Sandslash is going to be ABA good into this team. We pivot into Sandslash. The opponent's opting to stay in, which only means one thing. It's going to be that Guzzlord in the back. Scald is survivable, and the opponent offering very little fast move pressure. Then pivot out into Guzzlord, and it's going to be death by Ice Punch. The first one goes unshielded. Sandslash able to reach the next one. Surely the opponent shielded this right. Nope, the opponent putting all the hopes and dreams on Tentacle. The opponent going to be unable to poison jab farm me down before the Drill Run's reach, and that should be the final now in this opponent's coffin. Switch timer pops up once again. We pivot into Zapdos. I'll be honest, I was anticipating the opponent top left in. As with 2 shields to hide behind, this is unwinnable, even if the acid spray baited me. Speaking of baiting, I am going to fire off the Drill Peck. as even a drill peck with a Thunder Shocks will probably be lethal, but as the opponent invests that Protect Shield, we're just going to shield in return, and if they want that smoke, I suppose we're going to be obliged to give it to them. We're going to fire off the Thunderbolt, which is obviously massive overkill, but it is what it is. GG's. Heading into the final battle of today's video, we see the Dragonite lead, and once again, an opponent opting to stay in. Earlier I got baited, so I think this time I'm just going to say enjoy yourself and not look to shield a Dragonclaw bait as it feels bad, man. Of course, we've got an even harder answer to this thing in the form of our Clefable. The opponent actually does fire off the Dragonclaw bait. I overfarm, fire off the Ice Punch. It's so hard to not get caught on with a one-turn move. The opponent makes a very nice catch, catching onto Gator. That catch actually does me a huge favour, meaning they're in a range where a drill peck will remove them from the field of play. We send out Zapdos, picking up the knockout. I'm anticipating Dragonite re-entering the arena. The opponent waits out their clock, send back out Dragonite, and perfect fast move timing from the opponent one turn before the drill peck's reached. We've got a hard checklist in the form of Clefable. I send it out instantly. Switch timer isn't quite up as the opponent made a catch. We're going to stall the timer, firing off the Swift, send out Sandslash, and despite us being quite low, we've got 2 shields to hide behind, so we should be home and dry. I fire off the Drill Run, forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. This is probably an Acid Spray bait, but at this point, who cares? The opponent clearly don't have Acid Spray. They probably would have thrown it there. Sandslash able to reach the next Drill Run. Drill Run won't quite be lethal, but will certainly put them in a range where even Clefable is going to be able to handle it. Back out comes Dragonite. Dragonite does Dragon Breath farm down. Come on, trainer. You need something like Hyper Beam to win this battle. It's just a superpower. We Fairy Wind farm down, leaving with the Swift. Swift is going to be even enough to knock out big bad bulky Tentacruel, and we take that game. And that is going to wrap things up for a showcase of a throwback team from 2023 from NoobGiratina. The team has been buffed 4 times since he first used it, and I think it's back being meta relevant once again. If you've been around the channel for a while, you'll know I always like to bust out Sonic the Hedgehog in Ultra League. I think Shadow Alolan Sandslash just core breaks so many teams with people completely disregarding it. We saw today, it is a high risk, high reward Pokemon, but it's more than often on that high reward factor. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you like your battles featured on my channel, a link to our battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thanks to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.